Hello everybody, it's me Sam, and welcome to my 500 sub special. Not gonna lie, I didn't think I would ever get this far. 500 subs is a pretty big deal. If you know how to do math, 500 is literally half of 1,000. So I just wanna thank you guys real quick for getting me to this number. As you might have noticed when you clicked on this video, this is the official SamdoesRandomstuff Q&A. So let's not waste any more time and get to those questions. The first few questions we have are from LDM, the #1 donut fan. Their first question is, if you would put Dan on a team in this Venture Camp All-Stars, what team would you put him on? Now first off, if I was a writer for Venture Camp All-Stars, I wouldn't really change the cast. The only change I would make is replace Ashley with Dan, so that way both the genders will actually be even, and because I think my boy Dan really deserves a second chance. So with that in mind, I would mostly want Dan on the magenta team, only because it's the most logical outcome if he was an All-Stars, because, you know, he would have been an option for replacing Ashley. I would have liked to see Dan on the Cyan team as well, so he can, interact with Gabby and whatnot. But the only problem is that there isn't anybody on the Cyan team that I would replace with Dan. And the only character in All-Stars that I would replace with Dan is, unfortunately, Ashley. So Dan would be stuck on the magenta team. And the other question LDM had was, what was the thing that got you into the Total Drama and this Venture Camp fandom? I first started watching Total Drama back in 2020 when the pandemic happened and everyone was in quarantine and whatnot. And I found the entire first season of Total Drama Island, on YouTube, and even though it was also on Netflix at the time, I just decided to watch it on YouTube, and I instantly fell in love with the show. After watching the first few episodes, I just loved the concept of an animated reality TV show, and how the challenges and the game worked. It just really fascinated me, and it really got my attention. I ended up finishing the first season after like a month, and then I moved on to Action, World Tour, etc, etc, and now Total Drama is one of my favorite shows of all time. And as for this Venture Camp, I've been watching it since 2023, last year, since Season 1 started airing, and I've basically been watching ever since. The next few questions we have are from Katie. Her first question is, what do you think Dan's interactions with Rhea would have been like? If Dan and Rhea had interactions in All-Stars, Rhea would probably just treat him badly like Aiden. She would probably try to throw him off a cliff like she attempted to do with Aiden in Season 2. Just to put it short, I don't think they would get along. The next question is, are you going to pull a solo while reading this? Well, it honestly just depends on what the next question is. What are your thoughts on Hannah and Katie? Hannah and Katie is a W ship, a great ship, a masterpiece of a ship. If it doesn't become canon within the next 69 milliseconds, I'm gonna pull a Sala and crash out. Next question is, have you heard of this YouTuber called SpeedtheDukeofAwesomeness' birthday coming up where she orders a Rhea greeting? Funny thing about that question, I don't exactly know how to answer that. I just want to tell you right now, all of this recording right now, this whole video, is being recorded on November 5th, and I don't know what day or time this video is then gonna come out, or when I'm gonna reach 500 subs, but, happy early birthday, I guess, since this video was recorded on November 5th. Katie's last question is, how are you? I'm doing great, thanks for asking. The next two questions are from my Pookie, Verasiga Mayday Slay 7. About time they showed up in a video of mine. But, their first question is, when did your obsession with Verasiga Mayday start? It pretty much just started when I first started watching Hell of a Boss back in, summer of last year, a little before I started watching this Venture Camp. I was binge watching season 1 for the first time, and since it's literally only 8 episodes, it only took me like 2 days to go through the whole thing. And watching season 1 episode 3, Spring Broken, for the first time was quite the experience, to say the least. Veronica had me smitten in every scene she was in, I kid you not. Now look, I've had dozens and dozens of fictional crushes, most of them being female, of course, but there's just something about Veronica that was just different and made me like her more than the others. But like, can you guys really blame me though? I mean, look at her. Even if you aren't that attracted to her, you can at least admit that she is one fine individual. And the other question was, why is Dan your favorite Adventure Camp character? I actually don't know why he's my favorite character. I think that whole question alone deserves a future video of its own, because I can't really answer that right now. Actually, I might have to make a future video discussing why he is my favorite character. The next 2 questions we have are from Drama Camp Studio. The first one is, if Dan was in Adventure Camp All-Stars, what placement do you think you would give him? Like I already mentioned, my version of All-Stars has Dan replacing Ashley, so with that logic, you think I would just give Dan Ashley's placement of the first merge boot in like 10th or 11th, right? No! Again, if Dan was in All-Stars, I think he would have a pretty good shot at reaching merge, and by the time he does reach merge, he would be eliminated in either episode 12 or 13. I don't really see him making it past those 2 episodes, and maybe he could get like 8th place at the most. And the other question is, what is your favorite Total Drama episode? I don't have a favorite Total Drama episode actually, but I will tell you my favorite episode from each season. Firstly, my favorite episode from the first season, Total Drama Island, would probably have to be episode 22, Haunt Campshire. My favorite Total Drama action episode is episode 13, Oceans 8 or 9. My favorite World Tour episode, without a doubt, is episode 26, the finale, Hawaiian Punch. Favorite Revenge of the Island episode? Either episode 7, the one where they go in the mines, or episode 11, the one where they like build balloons and crap. Favorite All-Stars episode? Most of the episodes are either mid or hot garbage, but I think I'll go with episode 5, Moon Madness. Favorite Pocket 2 Island episode? Probably episode 7, This Is the Pits. Again, like All-Stars, most of the episodes are mid, but I kinda liked that episode. Favorite episode from season 1 of the reboot will probably have to be episode 7, Severe Aches and Pains. And lastly, my favorite episode from season 2 of the reboot will be, again, episode 7, Fight at OK Coral. Chocolate Milk Break. That's some good chocolate milk. Our next 5 questions are from Crusher the Champion. The first one is, what do you think of Dan and Drew as friends? I actually think they make pretty good friends, however, we barely saw any interactions between them. I think they only got like, 1 or 2 interactions, but that was because Drew was literally the second boot, and we unfortunately didn't get to see more of Dan and Drew. If Drew somehow lasted longer, then who knows. If someone watching this has any money to spend, please buy a Dan and Drew double greeting. I'd love to see how that would go down. The second question is, are you going to add Drew and Dan the Man? Well, I mean, there are going to be some cameos in later episodes, but for your Drew question, maybe? I'm not really sure. Maybe I could squeeze him in episode 5, or 6, or 7, or 69. I mean, no, there's only going to be 12 episodes. It's only going to be 12 episodes, but I might add Drew in a future episode. Who knows? The third question is, if Dan won season 1, what would be your reaction? I wouldn't really have one because, as probably the #1 Dan fan myself, I'll say this. I don't think he could win Season 1. But, at the most, I could see him passing Episode 7 somehow, and lasting till at least Episode 9 and getting 7th. I think that would have been better than what we got. Fourth question is, who is your second favorite Disventure Camp character? Gabby usually, but on weekends it's Tess. And finally, what do you think of Allie? I like Allie, she's cool, she can go there. Our last 3 questions are from GigaChadHamster987. The first one is, do you like Lost Media / Lost Wave? I do actually, I'm a pretty big Lost Media fan. I especially love the analog horror type of Lost Media. I'm a big fan of analog horror. Sometimes I just like to watch analog horror whenever I'm bored just to give myself the spooks for no reason. The second question is, do you know any other Total Drama fan-mades besides Reality Resort and Disventure Camp? I do, but the funny thing is, none of them have officially come out yet. There's Calamity Island, Exotic Escapade, and Adversity Hotel are some that I know, but they haven't officially released any episodes yet. And the very last question for this video is, what's your favorite food? I have a lot of favorite foods, so it's kind of hard for me to just pick one as my favorite right off the bat, but I guess I'll just go with pizza. I know, lame, but like, come on, everybody loves pizza. And that was the 500 sub special Q&A, everybody. Special thanks and gratitude towards all the people that submitted questions for this Q&A. This video probably wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for them. And now that the video is technically over, I guess I'm just gonna have to go find something else to do. I don't know what to do right now. I'll go find something to do.